So let me there. I am Anand Pavitra and I am going to take you into an education content where we will discuss about your exam prep and many more things. And let's begin. I realized something important about studying. Most students don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they keep trying to study without a system. I used to think focus was personality trait. Either you had it or you didn't. But the more I studied how students actually improve, the more I realized something else. Focus is not magic, it's structure. If your study session starts with confusion, distractions, and zero clarity, you are already lost before you begin. Change how I looked at myself. I stopped asking why I'm so lazy and started asking what part of my system is broken. The question changed everything because it moved from the problem from my identity to my process. That's the biggest difference actually. The first thing I learned is that before you study, you need a pre-study ritual. You should know what you are studying, how long you are studying, and what done actually looks like. If your brain has to figure that out in the middle of a session, start resisting. The second thing is that your environment matters more than motivation. If your phone is next to you, if your desk is mess, if your room feels like rest instead of work, your brain will orbit the environment. So I started making my space do half the work for me. The third thing is that actually consistency beats intensity. Study for 10 hours one day and nothing for the 3 days is not a real system. What actually works is daily contact with the subject, small enough to repeat, strong enough to matter. The fourth thing is that motivation is unreliable. So instead of waiting to feel ready, I started using micro goals, tiny and small enough that even on a bad day I could still show up. And this is where the biggest shift happened. I stopped trying to become the kind of student who look productive. I started trying to become the kind of student who executes. That means you don't just save notes, watch videos, or collect ideas. You act on the one thing immediately. So here's the system I'm using now. Here's the practical steps I'm going to tell you. Decide the subject before you start. Set a clear finish line. Prepare the same study setup every time. Put real friction between you and distractions. Use time blocks like Pomodoro. Review with spaced repetition. End with a quick brain dump. Adjust weekly instead of waiting to press. I'm not trying to become perfect. I'm trying to become consistent because consistency compounds and identity follows action. I want to be the student who execute, not the student who only plans.